Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video I'm going to be showing you something that I built for my Switch dock. Now this is my own personal docking station that I've decided to create for my original Switch because I do tend to play my Switch in docked mode more often than I do not. Now one of the things that I noticed is that my Switch tends to get really hot because the stock docking station ends up blocking some of the vent holes that are at the bottom of the Switch. So what I've decided to do is order one of these docking stations. I'll put a link to exactly which one it is in the video description. It's made by Ugreen. They're a pretty standard name nowadays in the docking scene, as well as just creating various kind of components that you can put in your computer or various sort of accessories, etc. Now, the really neat part about this dock, and I'll show you in just a minute, is that you have the ability to use a little screw to move this portion in and out, therefore being able to secure the dock in place as well as your Switch. Now, to get this kind of up and going, one of the most important things for me was to have a 1000 megabit Ethernet connection. Now this is something that the Switch OLED has on its dock, but not the stock unit. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at what consists of this entire build, and then we can take a look at the specifics as well as the performance. Alright folks, so here we are. We've got the Switch in its docking station. As you can see, there are a number of ports. We've got the power ports down here at the bottom. We've also got the ability to input either a regular SD card or a micro SD. Now, what you'll see at the bottom here is that we've got the Ethernet jack as well as HDMI out, which is very convenient for outputting to the TV. And then finally on this side, we've got 3 USB 3.0 ports. Now, due to the configuration of the Switch USB-C port, we actually can't use all of them at the same time when the Ethernet is active. I believe only one of the ports is actually available to be used. However, the rest can be used to provide power, which is pretty neat. Now, as I've mentioned before, you've got a little screw that is able to move kind of in and out on this docking station, again allowing you to potentially have different types of configurations in here. But I really like the fact that, you know, it's able to be screwed down so it holds the Switch in place very nicely. Now the last and probably kind of most important part is that you need to have some sort of an adapter. In this case, I have this USB-C to 90-degree adapter. Again, I will also put that in the description of the video. And that simply connects into the bottom of the Switch, and then you've got yourself an active docking station. Now, I do tend to power this particular unit with an Apple power supply, basically just hooking it up to this little port right here and allowing it to function as intended. Again, the most important part here to remember is that this allows me to actually run the Switch without it overheating, because as you can see, there are intake ports right here that the fan draws air through, and when you put it into this particular docking station, let's see if I can get this a little bit loosened up here so we can take a look. You can see that the ports are actually fully exposed, so again, you're able to have really cool intake air when the Switch is in here, again allowing it to run cooler over time without needing to resort to any sort of 3D printing, etc., etc. The other bonus of having this dock, as I mentioned, is having the full Ethernet capability on there without needing to upgrade to the OLED dock. But simultaneously, I have a feeling since it works with the original Switch, it'd probably work with the Switch OLED as well. Again, meaning if you play your Switch dock, this is probably one of the most perfect solutions that you can have out there. Now at this point you might be wondering, what is the performance like for this particular Switch dock? And the answer is the performance is no different from your stock Switch docking station in any way, shape, or form. And the really nice part again is that because you've got this little HDMI exit that's completely exposed, you can also run multiple chain devices out from the Switch output, allowing you to also modify what the Switch looks like, something that I'm going to cover in the next video for all of you. So I highly recommend setting this up for yourself because it will make it really nice, and it's compatible with every game that I've played so far. So again, there's really no reason not to do this, especially if you're going to be somebody that doesn't want to go with a 3D printed dock or wants something that you don't have to modify in order for it to run all of your Switch games and also keeping your system nice and cool.